Welcome to today's Catholic Daily Readings from Christus Dominus Bread of Life. A reading from the book of Nehemiah. And it happened that in the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, wine was before him, and I lifted up the wine and I gave it to the king, and I was like someone languishing before his face. And the king said to me, "Why is your expression sad, though you do not appear to be sick? This is nothing else but a sorrow of heart." Then I was exceedingly afraid, and I said to the king, "May the king live forever. Why should my expression not be mournful, since the city of the house of the tombs of my father is desolate, and its gates have been burned with fire?" And the king said to me, "What do you request?" And I prayed to the God of heaven. And I said to the king, "If it seems good to the king, and if your servant is pleasing in your sight, I ask that you would send me into Judea, to the city of the tombs of my father, so that I may rebuild it." And the king said to me, with the queen sitting beside him, "How long will your journey be, and when will you return?" And it was pleasing before the countenance of the king, and so he sent me, and I established a time for him. And I said to the king, "If it seems good to the king, may he give me letters to the governors of the region beyond the river, so that they may permit me to pass through until I arrive in Judea, and a letter to Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, so that he may give me timber in order to cover the gates of the tower of the house, and the wall of the city, and the house into which I will enter." And the king granted to me, in accord with the good hand of my God upon me.
Even in exile, I remember you, O Lord. Let my tongue be silenced if I ever
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. And it happened that, as they were walking along the way, someone said to him, "I will follow you wherever you will go." Jesus said to him, "The foxes have dens and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." Then he said to another, "Follow me." And he said, "Lord, permit me first to go and bury my father." And Jesus said to him, "Let the dead bury their dead, but you go and announce the kingdom of God." And another said, "I will follow you, Lord, but permit me first to say farewell to those who are at my house." But Jesus said to him, "No one who has put his hand to the plow and looked back is fit for the kingdom of God." Join us for today's reflection. Saint Thérèse of Lisieux died at 24, never left her small French convent, performed no public miracles, and wrote a spiritual autobiography that her own sisters thought was too ordinary to publish. Yet within decades of her death, she became one of the most influential saints in church history, and the Pope declared her a doctor of the Church alongside theological giants like Augustine and Thomas Aquinas. What made this unknown Carmelite nun so dangerous to comfortable Christianity? She discovered something that threatened every excuse people use to avoid radical discipleship: that holiness doesn't require extraordinary circumstances, just extraordinary love in ordinary moments. Therese called it the little way, and it sounds deceptively simple. Do small things with great love. Smile at the sister who annoys you. Pray for people who hurt you. Offer every mundane task as an act of worship. Choose love in moments when nobody's watching and nobody will ever know except God. The terror of this teaching is that it eliminates every escape route. You can't say, "I'm not called to heroic sanctity," because Therese proves that heroic sanctity is available in picking up the dropped napkin, enduring the boring conversation, accepting the unfair criticism without defending yourself. You can't say, "I need dramatic opportunities to prove my love for God," because Therese demonstrates that the most profound spiritual warfare happens in the choice to remain patient with the sister who splashes water during laundry. Today's gospel confronts this same uncomfortable truth through three would-be disciples whose excuses Jesus dismantles with surgical precision. The first volunteers enthusiastically, "I will follow you wherever you go." Jesus responds with reality. "Foxes have dens and birds of the sky have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to rest his head." Translation: following me costs everything you think provides security. The second receives a direct call from Jesus but asks to delay. "Lord, let me go first and bury my father." Jesus' response seems harsh until you understand what's actually happening. In that culture, "let me bury my father" often meant, "let me wait until my father dies and I receive my inheritance." The man was asking to follow Jesus later, after his comfortable life was secure. Jesus' answer cuts through the rationalization: "Let the dead bury their dead. But you go and proclaim the kingdom of God." The third makes what sounds like a reasonable request: "I will follow you, Lord, but first let me say farewell to my family at home." Jesus recognizes this for what it is: another delay tactic wrapped in piety. No one who sets a hand to the plow and looks to what was left behind is fit for the kingdom of God. These aren't cruel rejections. They're honest confrontations with the human tendency to negotiate with God's call rather than surrendering to it completely. And this is precisely what Therese refused to do. She didn't wait for ideal conditions, perfect preparation, or dramatic opportunities. She simply said yes to whatever love required in each moment, no matter how small or unnoticed. Nehemiah's story provides the framework for understanding this kind of radical availability to God. He's serving as cupbearer to a foreign king, living comfortably in exile, when he hears about Jerusalem's destroyed walls. His response isn't to plan elaborate heroics, it's to pray, then take the next immediate step available to him. When the king notices his sadness and asks about it, Nehemiah speaks honestly about his burden and requests practical help to address it. This is the little way in action. Recognize the need, bring it to God in prayer, then take whatever small step is actually available rather than waiting for dramatic opportunities. Nehemiah didn't need to conquer Persia or lead a rebellion. He just needed to be honest about what was breaking his heart and willing to act on the king's response. The psalm captures the emotional reality of this commitment. If I forget you, Jerusalem, may my right hand forget its skill. Therese lived with this same intensity about heaven, her Jerusalem, but she expressed it through the smallest possible actions rather than grand gestures. She understood that forgetting heaven doesn't happen through one dramatic choice to abandon God. It happens through 1,000 small choices to prioritize comfort over love, convenience over sacrifice, self-protection over vulnerability. This is why the little way terrifies people who want to serve God on their own terms. Therese's spirituality offers no hiding place. You can't postpone holiness until you have better circumstances, more time, deeper understanding, or stronger faith. Every moment presents the choice between love and self-interest, and every choice matters eternally. The three would-be disciples in today's gospel represent different versions of the same evasion. I'll follow you when, I'll follow you after, I'll follow you but first. Jesus exposes these as the delays they are. Therese proved that the only response that leads anywhere is I'll follow you now with what I have where I am. Her influence didn't come from writing brilliant theology or performing visible miracles. It came from 24 years of choosing love in moments when it would have been easier to choose comfort, self-pity, resentment, or indifference. She discovered that these small choices, repeated faithfully, create the kind of spiritual power that changes not just individual lives but the entire church. The question her life poses isn't whether you're capable of dramatic sanctity. It's whether you're willing to practice ordinary love with such consistency that it becomes extraordinary through sheer accumulation of grace-filled moments. Because that's the path Therese walked, and it led straight to the heights of holiness that people thought required much more dramatic circumstances.